Do you shop at St. Vinny's? Here are some reasons you might want to. Fall fashion. Hello, back to school shopping. Y'all, it's a perfect place to get cute and cool outfits that are budget friendly. And crafts. Are you looking for a new hobby? They got you. Plus, when you shop at St. Vinny's, you also help your neighbors in need. Money spent at the stores stays right in Dane County. They provide direct charity to the housing insecure, our food pantries, pharmacies, and more. So to find your nearest store, head to shopstvinny's.com. That's shop, STVINNYS.com. Today on CityCast Madison. It's Thursday, so of course we're dishing on Madison's food scene. And par usual, the scene is bustling with new places and faces, and updates from our tried and true restaurateurs. More breakfast tacos, more Jamaican jerk, sunshine salads, and dare I say, even a feline cafe is waiting in the wings. We chatted with Cap Times food editor Lindsay Christians, who's got a new story out about what's new and soon to open in Madison. She gave us the lowdown. It's Thursday, August 8th. I'm Bianca Martin, and here's what Madison's talking about. Lindsay Christians, hello!
Hello, hi.
It is so good to see you. And as normal, you're our sleuth for the city out here in the Madison food scene. And there are already new restaurants to talk about. It's crazy.
Oh my gosh, so many. I gotta say, I spent several days putting this most recent roundup together. It's the length of a Cap Times cover story, so it's close to 3,000 words. It's a lot. We've got 30-some new places to talk about.
Yeah, and I feel like we just chatted and it's already booming. So we're going to talk about that. But let's just jump in. What are you most excited about that's new in Madison today?
The couple places that I'm really excited about, one of them is this new Detroit-style pizza place that's coming to East Johnson, where the Salvatore's tomato pies used to be.
Yes, I saw that.
I spent some time looking into okay, is Detroit style pizza the same as Sicilian? Is it the same as grandma style? And the answer is sort of. It's similar in that it's a higher ratio, I think, of water to flour in the crust. So it's this really airy crust, but it's still kind of thick.
Okay. It's not flat.
No, it's in
got
a steel pan, a steel pan pizza, but it's not heavy.
Yes.
I'm excited about it. So that is coming to East Johnson, and I'm delighted that there's going to be more pizza on East Johnson. Also, right near there on East Johnson, the guy from El Rancho Tacos on Park Street is opening a morning breakfast place that will turn into tacos and nachos and tequila and stuff at night.
Mm-hmm.
Which sounds delightful and really fun. And he's keeping the East Johnson family restaurant vibe in there. So it's going to be more of a turnkey spot for him. And then the other place that I'm really excited about actually just opened this past weekend on the North Side, and it's called the North Side Lounge. They have a super cute little patio, new bar on the North Side, and it's Simon is the bartender. He was a bartender at, I think, Vintage for 2 decades or something. He has this following, and it's him and his wife Emily, and they are opening this lovely craft cocktail bar on the North Side. They really want it to be super inclusive. They're we're dog friendly, we're on the bike path, we're easy to get here and just come and hang out, have a lovely time. There will be TVs there, but it won't be TV focused, is what he was telling me last fall. But they just finally opened this past weekend, and I'm so excited for them, and I cannot wait to go and try it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I haven't heard about this new lounge. I mean, the big buzz earlier in the year on the North Side was Lola's High-Low Lounge opening up, and there were crowds out the wazoo, lines outside the door, and that's probably slowed down a little bit, but it seems like there's definitely demand for lounge type areas on the North Side.
Oh, for sure. And it's not the only new cocktail bar opening. I think the biggest buzz that I've been hearing is about public parking.
Oh,
Again,
sure.
We're back over on East Johnson.
Let's go back to the 800 block of East Johnson. Let's go. Oh, wait, no, they're the 700 block, Lo Siento.
700 block, yeah. And that's J.R. Mokanu and Jack Yip, who is a co-owner of Jackknife and Red Sushi. And they have been planning this for such a long time. They started doing pop-ups in other cities, which I think is very cool. And I just confirmed that they're looking at a September 5th opening So
Okay,
that's on
nice.
the horizon. Yeah.
Yes, that one's good. We definitely plan on talking to them on the show because the first craft cocktail bar I ever worked at was Merchant. And that really was one of the starting spots for the craft cocktail movement in Madison, I would
Oh,
say.
for
And
sure.
JR
It
was
was,
kind of
yeah.
at the ahead of that because he was the bar manager there. And I remember being like, craft cocktails? What are these tinctures and flowery purple drinks? And, just started a whole thing.
Yeah. And you see some of those folks like Chad Vogel was a big one at the time too, and he has opened so many new places.
Hmm.
And some of the folks who've come out of that time are like doing really cool things now. It's just really wonderful to see.
Yes, yeah. Chad Vogel, right? He has Robin Room and the Muskie Lounge Boarding Club, and he's part of Mint Mark. Yeah, it's so cool. We love this. So these
Yeah.
are really fun. I'm glad that you brought up what was happening with the East Johnson family restaurant because that's a closure. So we've had some new ones, but that one will be saying goodbye, and the new thing is like a taco joint, which I could
Yeah.
not be happier to have more tacos and more
Yeah.
breakfast tacos. But it sounds like it's kind of an all day sort of place, all day and night.
For sure. And they're going to have counter service, which I think is a reflection of how restaurants are needing to change their business models just in the light of what it's like to run a restaurant since the pandemic happened. And I think you look at a place like Amara, which was this ambitious, large scale project out at Hilldale. They recently announced that they would be closing. I think they are closed now. And looking at something like that, where like there's a big investment of money, place like Rabinia,
Huge.
Rabinia too, right, has closed. And I think they are still making plans to reopen, but it's expensive to run a restaurant. It's expensive, all the staff and everything else that you need. And with costs for ingredients and things going up, it's complicated. So it's really interesting to look at this list and see some of the different kind of business models, see what's coming and going. There are a lot of places on my list right now that are going into apartment buildings that are just being built. So Ancora is building a new cafe in a new apartment building just off Cottage Grove Road in Monona. They're opening their fourth
Yes.
cafe. There's going to be a new coffee shop in the Olive building on West Gorham.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
like student housing, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
There's something going into the Moxie called Attico, and I think it just means penthouse in
I love that.
Spanish.
I love that
Yeah.
name. And that's
Yeah.
right by Rabinia, right there on East Washington, right in
Yeah.
that, yeah,
Yeah.
same corridor.
Right by Rabinia. And they are opening up this, it's going to be like Latin American style. They say they're going to be taking a cue from how, like at the Moxie, there's no specific concierge desk or reception desk. You go to the bar to get your key for your room.
Oh, sure. I've gone to a hotel like that in Chicago.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
interesting.
So it sounds like maybe it'll be sort of counter servicey in the same way that El Rancho was talking about, right? To like cut down on the number of staff that you need.
Fewer jobs, but
Yeah.
we still are seeing people having trouble keeping the lights on.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you know, is there anything more we can share about Rabinia? Because I'm just so shocked. I'm sad to see Rabinia go because for many reasons, I don't know how I missed this, but I missed eating at Jardine, like the great vegan spot that you've raved about, that so many people have raved about to me. And like, oh, it's fancy. Like, I'll find the right time to go. And I missed it.
Yeah. You know what's interesting though is as I'm looking at the restaurants that are opening, there's going to be one called Casa Zaragoza on South Park Street. And they're building out like an event space and they're going to be doing it's a Mexican restaurant similar to Cuco's that was on the east side, not the one on King Street. There were apparently two Cuco's and they're not
That's
related.
kooky. No, I'm sorry.
Yeah. But part of the menu is going to be vegan. Like they're going to have whole portions of the menu being devoted to plant-based cuisine. And I think that that's a trend that we're going to continue to see. It's also really encouraging, I think, to see some smaller businesses like David's Jamaican, for example, closed for a year and then reopen in a new location in Monona.
Oh, good deal.
So, I mean, that's not vegan food, but to me, it's sort of like these things that people still have demand for, that people really want to try and are interested in having more of, that there's still, potential growth for those small businesses and for those restaurants, even if they can't stay in the place where they are. El Sabor de Puebla is another example. They have that really small location near East High. And apparently they were broken into like a bunch of times. I was reading in the State Journal that like 5 times in a couple of years, which is rough. So
Yikes.
they're moving into the old Benvenutos on the north side. And they get to have those big, beautiful wooden carved booths that they have in there. They're moving those to that larger space. And I think it's going to have room for like 220 people up there. So they're able to take what they do really well and expand it to a new audience.
And, we revisited on the team one of the conversations you and I had from last year where we talked about new spots like Cardinal Bar, Mediterranean Joint, or as Haley calls it, Medjo, and Lalande. And all of those places are still thriving. So there are some new ones that have taken hold. What do you think that says about the staying power of Madison's restaurant scene? Because some people are making it with their models.
Yeah, I think it really depends on how well capitalized you are to start and how good you are at sort of predicting your audience or meeting the needs of your audience. So I think there were a lot of places downtown that relied on office lunch crowds that have had to kind of change their model or pivot a bit. I also think that Madison is hungry for like diversity of cuisine, but we're also very value conscious.
Mm-hmm.
So you do see a lot of places that are opening up. There's a place that's not technically in downtown Madison or in Madison, but it's called Water Street Social Club in Prairie du Sac. And the thing that I found really interesting about it is that they're doing a whole like full menu of like mostly snacky things like mac and cheese and bruschetta and Paul's pelmeni. And then they're doing dinner specials. So like meatloaf and chicken and da-da-da-da. They're also having a speakeasy. They have trivia. They have live music. They have fundraisers
Is this on the
and private
Wisconsin
events.
River?
Yeah.
In Prairie du Sac? Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds cool. What the heck? Sorry. Why am I upset about something cool?
Yeah.
I just
You're
didn't know
wait,
about it.
I know this
is
area.
Why we love you.
But they're doing everything, right? So they're doing a little bit of everything. Some place like El Rancho that's going to be open like all day, you're maximizing the number of hours that you can meet the needs of folks. So some place like Lalande that has a relationship professionally with Bloom, like you got your morning folks and you've got your evening folks, and you're meeting people in different ways.
Yeah, Bloom Cafe.
Yeah, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think people are figuring out how to meet the needs of folks, like when they're going out and this is what they want to try. But it's part science, it's part craft, it's part luck, it's part lots of money.
Cool shoes. My brother would love those.
Ooh, I don't share my sources.
Well, I just found them using Circle to search with Google on my new Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6.
What?
And I texted them to my brother on the other side of this massive screen.
Where did you get that phone?
Lucky for you, I don't gatekeep my sources. Tell them.
Get your own Galaxy Z Fold 6 now at Samsung.com. Requires internet connection. Results may vary by uniqueness, clarity, and framing of circled image and related factors.
This episode is brought to you by Pacifico. When a happy hour drinking Pacifico beer with friends turns into hopping onto an LED bike taxi, taking a taco tour across the city, and becoming honorary members of a 90s cover band. You found what was waiting for you. Pacifico. Life's waiting. 21 plus only. Discover responsibly. Pacifico Clear Beer. Imported by Crown Imports, Chicago, Illinois.
We've been having you on the show since the launch of the podcast, and I'm struck by each time how many new restaurants are here. And Madison, is it fair to say for our size that we punch above our weight in terms of a thriving and vibrant scene?
Yeah, I think we definitely do. I think Madison has more variety, more exciting things to eat than you would ever expect for a city this size. And I think it's due to the fact that the capital is here, the university is here. You have people who have maybe a little bit more disposable income because of, they work at the Capitol, whatever, or they work in healthcare. Epic. And I think we have opportunities because of that, despite of our smaller size as a city. But also we're growing. Again, look at all these places that are coming into new apartment buildings. Like Mint Mark just opened in the Standard, and they're already making plans for like a little grocery that's going to be in there for yeah. And then a cocktail bar. And I think outside businesses or franchisees will look at Madison and say, yeah, I'm going to open a Duck Donuts there. Like, this is a good donut shop kind of place. Like, we will find people who want these donuts,
Oh, yes, they will.
Yeah. So there's a couple. There's the Candy Cloud Company, which is based out of Rockford. And they're doing like boba and smoothies and fun iced coffee things and shakes, which you can have made with Oatly. And all of these lovely, like very sweet things. And then the donut shop too that's opening. I'm just like, Madison has a sweet tooth. And there are people who are outside of us who are like, this is a great market for me.
We like our treats, our sweets.
Yeah.
Yes, we definitely do. And we like kick butt in the pastry scene. So, yeah, more donuts coming to our area. Have you seen anything? We're in festival season. There's so many food trucks going around. That's a whole nother scene. Are there any new food trucks that you would highlight?
Yeah. So there are a couple. It's so funny. I was getting to the end of this list and I was like, I can't add food trucks.
Yeah.
But there is one that Esti Janur, who's one of our freelancers, recently wrote about called
Oh
Sandwich
my gosh,
Hub.
from WRT, Esty?
Yeah.
Hey,
yeah.
girl.
She did a great piece about Sandwich Hub, which is owned by the guy who used to run Jason's Caribbean Fusion. And he just wants to branch out, try some sandwichy things. I just had a really delicious egg roll from Mega Egg Rolls. Garver is doing this like food truck Friday thing, which is really fun. They park the trucks in kind of that area where it's like overflow parking, and they have great variety.
Is this like the field? It was like basically a field before, and they've been so popular that they expanded. Okay.
Yeah. And Reap Food Group has a food truck now that they're trying to get off the ground. So they were serving stuff from Madame Chu, which was delicious and kind of fun.
We love Madame Chu.
Right? Josie's great. And so that was really fun to try out. And there are some, like Gloria's Mexican has a new food cart. And there are a lot of things that are kind of, bopping around and opening new things. The Sunshine Salads that we wrote about in June, she's doing like pop-ups at the farmer's market and also at music festivals and doing like crane bowls and salads and things that you normally wouldn't find at a festival. So that's another fun one too.
Sunshine salads. I like that.
Sunshine salad, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She grows some of her own ingredients.
Get it, girl. Madison woman, example A.
Right, of course.
Doing it up, doing it all. I feel like you have even more new places on your list that we haven't gotten to. What else have you been paying attention to?
I am really excited that Amma is open on Willie Street.
Yeah.
That's Rajan Pradhan, who used to own Doban further down on Atwood. But he opened Amma. It looked beautiful inside. I have not been there yet. I'm really excited to go. But that place, they're doing like masala dosa and pakora and biryani and all those wonderful, like highly spiced, like Nepalis. Yeah, really, I'm excited about that. I was just looking at the menu for Lacey's Cafe. It's in the Burr Oak on Winnebago.
Okay, so they replaced Ahan.
Yes, right, exactly.
Okay, cool.
So I was originally hearing about it and I'm like, snacks. And it was not a lot of things that are like made on site is what it sounded like. And I was like, okay, like that sounds fine. Like I like the Rude Brew kombucha, but this sounds fine. And then I like looked at the menu and I'm very impressed. It's got like locally made bagels, biscuits, soft pretzels, scones, a lot of gluten, but delicious
the thick
gluten
stuff. That's good.
Yeah. Supercharges supplying them with spring rolls. There's Potter's crackers and cheese, vegan bakery, and like gluten-free muffins from Madison Chocolate Company. Like it's just really cute.
Wow.
And
yeah, that is range.
Yeah, like 20 local purveyors. Plus you can get her kombucha there, and the ones she makes with honey are so good.
Ooh, a kombucha with honey. That sounds nice.
It's called June, like Jun, and they're so good. There's one she makes with lemongrass. It's just wonderful.
Sounds like it would taste good with that sunshine salad.
Mm-hmm.
And, last time we chatted, I remember Amma, that we were just talking about the Nepalese food. That was one of the soon to come restaurants.
Yeah.
And now it is here. I understand you also have some soon to open spots in your reporting.
Yeah. 19 of them, I think.
Yes. See, I mean, just like everyone knows how much we love food, but it doesn't get old for me. Yeah.
A bunch of them I have already sort of mentioned, like the Detroit style pizza place, Molten Monkey, and some of the new coffee shops that are coming. But one I don't know a lot about yet, but I'm following is El Águila Real, which translates to the Golden Eagle. I'm sorry for my butchered accent there. It's the former Nick's restaurant location at 226 State.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the owner has ties to Casa Fiesta, Mexican Grill, and the intention is to open in August. So that's going to be a new spot right there on State Street by Overture.
Wow. Do you think it's going to keep any of the old Nicks?
I don't know.
Yeah, because I don't see that looking the same, but it could. But that was such a nostalgic spot.
It's tough, right? Because I was talking to the owner of Nick's before they closed. And he was talking about how it's really challenging to balance, like needing to keep things updated and clean
Yeah.
with also like maintaining this vibe of this is a really older place. It's got a lot of history and people want to have a certain experience when they go there. But you have to update some things. Like you have to fix the lighting because
Right.
eventually it will get, so,
Yeah.
and it's just a delicate balance. The new owners of Kavanaugh's are dealing with really similar things, I think. Just trying to maintain the good, but also update what needs to be updated.
Yeah. We just talked to someone that you talk to frequently, Sam Brown, who is the
Yeah.
new owner of Greenbush Bar, speaking of historic spots. And he said the exact same thing. Going in there is just like, oh my God. Because I imagine it's an older spot, but there's like so much maintenance and things to keep up with and clean. We're really excited about that. So there's some places with some new ownership around town.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that Italian American cuisine is really popular, obviously. I think that when Alimentari opens up on Monroe Street, they're opening a new location there. I think they're really going to pick up some of the excitement and some of the groundwork laid by for Boney's. And I also think that Alimentari is going to be doing its own thing. You're going to be able to swing in there and get, fresh pastas, deli salads, but also things that you can grab from the freezer and like have lasagna for it's so
Yeah. And they have fantastic cannolis.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're going to be really great. They want to expand their catering. But I asked Dan Bonanno about this legacy that he comes from, his own legacy, but also like the other places in town. And he was very cautious about comparing Alimentari to anything else.
Sure.
But these things do exist in a context,
Yeah, absolutely. And especially now they're coming a little bit closer to Regent Street and some of where the rich history is that, Sam Brown and other folks are trying to uphold and maintain to keep sort of some of that heritage there.
Yeah. And I think that's why, too, there's a place that's going in McFarland called the Mekong that's going to be Hmong owned. It's a huge event space. And they're going to have a restaurant there that's going to be doing Thai, Lao, Vietnamese, Hmong food. And it'll be part restaurant, part event space. But the idea is that you can rent that and you can get culturally specific food to your family, right? And you can go to the American Legion, you can go to a lot of different places, and I don't know what all options everybody has, but I would imagine that this is something that their community really needs, and they really want it to be not only for them, but for everyone else around in McFarland. I loved Ashley Rodriguez did a piece for us about that back in June, and that sounds like it's going to be really cool.
That sounds incredible. And it makes me so happy to hear so many people coming and being like, we are going to make food that our family makes because we know other people want it. And it's what they would want to partake in. You want to go get a home cooked meal that you didn't cook yourself. Well, you have to have someone cooking that home cooked meal. So
it's true.
Talking about McFarland, I did want to ask about some places outside of Madison. Folks might want to do some day tripping. Are there any others that kind of fall into that category that you'd want to highlight?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the ones that was really compelling to me was Bar Manzo, which is in Mount Horeb. And it's owned by Nathan Morgan, who owns 107 State. And the cool thing about Bar Manzo is they have what I think of as like sort of classic Italian-American dishes, but they have some options for how you can experience that. And one of them is called the coffee table. And you go in with like 5 to 6 people and you essentially get like a prefix family style meal. And they serve you like as though you were in their apartment when they were living in Harlem. And
oh my gosh.
He was like, we had this big coffee table. And he's like, it wasn't like a, classic dinner table, but it was a coffee table. It was big for a coffee table. And so this is like their coffee table style, like family dining thing. And you can come in with a group and just order like whatever. And then they'll just bring you food. And it's lovely. And I love that idea of like, I kind of want to like get a couple friends together and just go have a little party in Mount Horeb at the coffee table at Bar Manzo.
That sounds gorgeous. Coffee table party in Mount Horeb. That sounds awesome.
Right? I do have one more. I have one more that I have to say because my kitten Juniper was trying to get in. This is in honor of him. The Cat's Brew is opening in Sun Prairie. It is a cat cafe. It's next to a Mounds pet store. And they're going to have like the cafe portion and the kitty portion. And there will be like a glass between the two. And you can like sign a waiver make sure if you get scratched, you don't sue anybody. You sign a waiver to go in where the kitties are, which I actually think will work a lot better than some other cat cafe models I've seen where they try to put it all together because health code gets all sticky, right?
Yeah.
But with something like this, where you can be like, I'm going to go have a coffee and then we're going to go pet some kittens. And they will be adoptable, which is lovely. And it sounds so fun. And they're opening, I think they said mid-September is what I heard from them. So that's in Sun Prairie. And that sounds really fun. And I can't wait to go there.
We love a cat cafe. And I haven't been to like a cat cafe, cat lounge in Madison. I've been to one in Pittsburgh. So I would want to go check it out too. It sounds fun.
Yes.
Well, Lindsay, thanks for bringing us the goods as always. You are on the scene and you're queen of the scene queen for food.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thanks so much. That's Lindsay Christians, food editor at the Cap Times. If you want to check out her latest piece on new and soon-to-come spots in the Madison area, definitely head to our show notes for a link. That's all for today, here on CityCast Madison. I'm Bianca Martin. If you enjoyed the show, why not share this episode with someone you'd love to take to a cat cafe? We'll be back tomorrow morning with more stories from around the city. Ciao.